Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, wake up. I'm not just talking about opening your eyes after 8 hours of sleep. I'm talking about waking up in your spirit, waking up in your mind. Let me talk to you. I want you to really hear this in your soul. Nothing in your life will change until you become fully aware of where you are right now. You can't get to where you're going if you're lying to yourself about where you're starting from. I don't care how much you pray, how many motivational videos you watch, or how many journals you fill. You cannot transform what you refuse to face. Some of us are running from ourselves, running from our truth, hiding behind routines, distractions, jobs, people, and noise. We keep blaming the world, the economy, our childhood, our partner, our environment. But the truth is, we haven't taken a good, hard, honest look in the mirror, because that mirror doesn't lie. It reflects not just the face, but the state of the soul. Your future is not locked behind some magical door in the sky. It's hidden behind your own blind spots. And if you keep closing your eyes to the reality of your current state, you'll keep repeating the same cycles year after year, hoping for different results from the same behavior. Self-awareness is not weakness. It's the beginning of strength. See, it's easy to point out the problems in everybody else. It's easy to call out what others are doing wrong. But can you turn that spotlight inward and ask yourself, where am I lacking discipline? Where am I self-sabotaging? Where am I avoiding the responsibility of my own choices? You'll never fix what you won't face. You'll never heal what you keep hiding, and you'll never elevate what you won't evaluate. This is the classroom of change. It doesn't start in a church building or a seminar or a YouTube video. It starts in your own heart when you decide to stop pretending. When you realize that denial is not protection. It's a prison, and too many people have mistaken emotional numbness for strength. But being numb to your pain doesn't mean you've overcome it. It means you've buried it, and buried things rot. They don't disappear. They just grow in the dark until they leak into your habits, your relationships, and your future. Let me make this plain. The enemy of change is not your past. It's your blindness. You can't grow when you're blind to your patterns. You can't heal when you keep ignoring your wounds. You can't move forward if you're not willing to admit where you keep going in circles. God doesn't change people through magic. He changes them through awareness, repentance, humility, and work. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about self-condemnation. I'm not telling you to beat yourself up. I'm telling you to wake up to yourself. Because some of us are in spiritual comas, emotional sleepwalkers going through the motions, getting up, going to work, posting on social media, eating dinner, watching TV, sleeping. But our purpose is still stuck in the basement of our souls. And we keep wondering why we feel empty, why we feel stuck, why life feels like it's on loop. It's because your next level is trying to reach you, but it can't do it while you're asleep. It's knocking on your door. It's tapping on your shoulder. It's whispering in the quiet moments, there's more in you. But instead of waking up, we keep pulling the covers of denial back over our eyes. And here's the reality. Nobody can wake you up but you. People can encourage you. Videos can inspire you. Preachers can preach to you. But the decision to rise is yours alone. You have to say, I've had enough of living beneath my calling. I've had enough of being a prisoner to my old patterns. I've had enough of making excuses for my stagnation. You've got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired, because real change doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in collision, a collision between who you are and who you're called to be, between what you know and what you're willing to admit, between what you've been doing and what you must do now. So let me ask you, are you awake? Or are you just functioning on autopilot? Are you living or just existing? Are you thriving or just surviving? This is not a motivational catchphrase. It's a divine confrontation. Wake up. Because the truth is, your destiny is not waiting on the government, the boss, the bank, or the applause of manits waiting on you to open your eyes and see clearly. Self-awareness is the alarm clock. Let me speak to the part of you that's gotten too comfortable. The part of you that says, at least I'm surviving, but deep down you know you're not thriving. You've mistaken being safe for being successful. And what you've called peace might just be passivity. You've made your comfort zone your permanent address, and you're wondering why nothing's changing. Because hear me, comfort zones feel like protection, but they're actually prisons. Let's tell the truth. It's easier to stay in what's familiar, even if it's dysfunctional, because familiar pain is more predictable than unknown potential. We'd rather stay in a job that's draining our purpose than risk stepping into a new opportunity. We'd rather remain in broken routines because at least we know how to navigate them. That's how we get trapped in cycles, not because God isn't calling us higher, but because we're not willing to leave the ground. Your comfort zone is not the reward, it's the test. It's where God waits to see, will you trade what's easy for what's essential? Will you leave what's comfortable for what's calling you? See, a comfort zone may feel safe, but it's a coffin in disguise. Dreams are buried there, visions are silenced there. Gifts that were meant to shake the world are locked behind fear there. Think about the seed. A seed is safe in the soil. It's hidden, it's covered, it's undisturbed. But a seed doesn't grow until it breaks. It breaks through the shell, breaks through the dirt, reaches toward light, stretches through pressure. Growth demands disruption. There is no transformation without tension, no development without discomfort. You cannot be who you were and who you're becoming at the same time. We love the idea of change. We shout about it, post about it, pray for it. But when change starts demanding discomfort, when it starts asking for discipline, sacrifice, and courage, we retreat back to the warm bed of excuses. We pull the blankets of maybe later. I'm not ready. What if I fail? Over our calling and go back to sleep. But let me challenge you with this truth. Every level of destiny comes with a discomfort requirement. You can't be elevated and stay the same. The eagle teaches us this. When a mother eagle knows it's time for her babies to fly, she starts to make the nest uncomfortable. She removes the feathers, the soft leaves, the padding. She exposes the thorns underneath. Why? Because she knows comfort kills flight. As long as the baby eagle stays comfortable, it will never take off. And that's some of us. We've been asking God for wings, but we refuse to leave the nest. You will not find your greatness where it's easy. You will not build legacy where it's cozy. You will not reach purpose where there is no pressure. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs in life come through painful exits. The painful exit from mediocrity, the painful exit from toxic environments, the painful exit from old versions of yourself. God didn't call you to just survive Monday through Friday, watch Netflix, and repeat until retirement. He called you to create, to influence, to solve, to rise, to lead, to shift atmospheres, to carry light in dark places. But you'll never walk in that calling as long as you're addicted to comfort, because comfort numbs your hunger, and if you're not hungry for better, you'll settle for whatever. Let's be clear. The enemy of your next level is not failure, it's comfort. Failure can teach you. Pain can build you, but comfort keeps you in the same place year after year, convincing you that staying still is wise when it's really just fear wearing a mask. Some of you are waiting for clarity, but what you really need is courage. You already know what needs to change. You already feel what needs to shift. You already see what needs to be released. But you keep waiting on a sign, a prophecy, a confirmation. And God is saying, I'm not sending another sign. I already gave you a voice, a dream, a vision, a push. What are you waiting for? Every comfort zone has a cost. You may not pay it in dollars, but you'll pay it in delayed purpose, unrealized dreams, and spiritual stagnation. Don't let years pass by buried under potential that never came to life because you were afraid to be uncomfortable. Let this moment be a mirror. Ask yourself, what am I still holding on to because it feels safe, even though it's suffocating me? What have I postponed because it makes me nervous, even though it could set me free? What version of myself have I outgrown, but still wear because I'm afraid to stand naked in front of the unknown? Wake up. Don't let comfort rob you of your calling. Growth is waiting on the other side of discomfort. Promotion is waiting on the other side of pressure. Purpose is waiting on the other side of pain. So if you feel tension, good. If you feel the stretch, lean into it. If you feel the shaking, don't run. That's how you know you're getting close, because God doesn't call the comfortable. He calls the courageous. And if you've been stirred, pushed, disrupted lately, maybe it's not life falling apart. Maybe it's destiny waking you up. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to safe. Don't go back to stuck. Get up, get out, and grow. We've talked about dreams. We've talked about vision. We've talked about hope. And those things are beautiful, necessary even. But I've come to tell you, dreams without discipline are just wishes wearing church clothes. They make you feel good, but they don't move you forward. They shout in your head, but they never show up in your hands. You can write down goals. You can create vision boards. You can declare your future every morning. But until you discipline your decisions, nothing will change. Let that sink in. You see, dreaming is easy. Anybody can dream. You don't need courage to dream. You don't need strategy to dream. You don't need sacrifice to dream. All you need to dream is the ability to close your eyes. But when you open your eyes, what separates people who dream from people who manifest their destiny is discipline. It's what you do when you're no longer inspired, when the motivation is gone, when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching, when it's just you, your commitment, and the choice to keep going or give up. And let's be honest, discipline is not sexy. It doesn't get standing ovations. It's not flashy. It doesn't trend on social media. But make no mistake, it's the silent architect of every successful person you admire. Every person you see walking in their calling, flowing in purpose, fulfilling their dreams. Don't let their spotlight fool you. Behind that spotlight is a long hallway of hard decisions. They said no to distractions. They said yes to routines. They woke up when they didn't feel like it. They kept going when it wasn't convenient. Why? Because discipline is not about feelings. It's about focus. And the truth is, your future isn't waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on a routine. You don't need more inspiration. You need more consistency. You don't need another motivational quote. You need a schedule. You don't need to feel it. You need to do it anyway. That's where the breakthrough is. You're not going to change your life by doing what's easy. You're going to change your life by repeating what's necessary, even when it's boring, even when it's painful, even when it's not paying off yet. Because discipline doesn't give instant rewards. It gives eventual results, and that's why it's hard. Because in a world addicted to fast gratification, discipline asks you to wait, to keep showing up before you see results, to keep pouring into something before you get a return. It tells you, plant the seed, water it daily, and don't stop just because it hasn't sprouted yet. That's why so many people give up. They confuse the silence of progress with the absence of progress. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not working. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not growing. You want to know how to change your life. Start with your habits, not your hopes, your habits. What are you doing every single day? What are you listening to, reading, speaking, investing in, sacrificing for? That's where transformation lies, in the hours that no one sees, in the choices that no one applauds. In the mornings where you fight the temptation to give up and instead say, "No, I made a decision. This is my standard now." Discipline is the decision to say, "I don't feel like it, but I'm going to do it anyway." It's choosing your future over your feelings. It's saying, "I'd rather sweat now than regret later." It's choosing to go to bed early so you can wake up for your purpose. It's turning off distractions so you can study your calling. It's not giving 100% once. It's giving 80%, 70%, even 40%, but doing it every day until it becomes 100 again. Some of you are waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, the magical opportunity. But hear me, discipline doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates results under pressure. You can't afford to wait anymore. You can't afford to waste another year getting ready. You're not going to become who God called you to be just by waiting on motivation. You're going to become it by developing muscle, spiritual muscle, emotional muscle, mental muscle, and muscles grow through resistance, through repetition, through breaking, tearing, healing, and building again. That's what discipline does. It stretches your capacity. It expands your mindset. It builds your character, because discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about who you become. Every day you keep your word to yourself, you get stronger. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you get sharper. Every time you show up for your vision when nobody else claps, you become unstoppable. Not because of talent, not because of luck, but because discipline will take you where motivation can't. You've got the dream. You've got the potential. You've got the calling. But the bridge from here to there is paved with daily decisions. That's how you change your life. Not in a day, but daily. Let me speak plainly to you. You cannot walk into a new season while holding hands with people who are still committed to the old you. Some of us are not stuck because we don't have vision. We're not stuck because we lack ability. We're stuck because of who we've chosen to stay connected to. You've been trying to fly while being tethered to people who are afraid of heights. And you wonder why progress feels like struggle, why every step forward feels like a war. It's because you are dragging people who were never meant to go where you're going. Hear me, your circle determines your cycle. If you're surrounded by lazy, unmotivated, drama-addicted people, don't be surprised when your life reflects their behavior. If your friends don't challenge your growth, confront your mediocrity, or hold you accountable, then they're not friends. They're anchors. And an anchor doesn't just keep you from moving. It keeps you underwater. You're trying to rise, but every time you get momentum, here comes that text, that phone call, that invitation, that negativity pulling you back down. You can't keep planting seeds of change in toxic soil and expecting to see fruit. A good seed will still die in the wrong environment. You can have potential, you can have power, you can have purpose. But if your circle is polluted, your progress will be too, because relationships carry energy. And whether you realize it or not, the people around you are shaping the person you're becoming. You're absorbing their habits, you're catching their mindsets, you're echoing their attitudes, and if they're negative, small-minded, fearful, or complacent, guess what? Eventually, so will you be. Let me teach you something. Exposure creates hunger. If you're always around people who are content with average, you will never crave excellence. But get around someone who's pursuing their calling, someone who's sharpening their gift, someone who's building, creating, rising. Suddenly, your standard shifts. Your appetite changes. You start seeing what's possible. You stop making excuses and start making adjustments. That's the power of environment. It either feeds your faith or fuels your fear. Sometimes God will call you to separation before elevation. And separation doesn't mean you're better than anyone. It just means you recognize what's better for you. It means you're finally mature enough to choose alignment over attachment, because not everyone who came with you is called to go with you. Some people were only assigned to your past, not your future. And if you keep trying to drag the past into your next chapter, you're going to tear the pages of your progress. I know it's hard to let go. I know it hurts to walk away from people you've known for years. I know what it feels like to outgrow environments that once felt like home. But listen, growth is uncomfortable, and so is goodbye. But you cannot cling to comfort and reach for calling at the same time. You have to decide what matters more, fitting in or moving forward. There are people right now who don't want you to change, not because they hate you, but because your growth reminds them of their refusal to grow. Your discipline shines a light on their distractions. Your progress exposes their excuses. So they'll start criticizing what they can't control, they'll mock your effort, they'll question your motives. They'll say you've changed like it's a bad thing. But here's what you need to remember. Elevation always creates separation. Stop apologizing for evolving. Stop shrinking to fit spaces God is calling you to leave. Stop explaining your fire to people who are comfortable in the cold. This is your life. This is your purpose. This is your time. And you cannot afford to waste it trying to convince people to support something they were never meant to understand. Some people are not bad. They're just bad for your assignment. You need people in your life who don't just like you, but lift you. People who don't just tolerate your dreams, but fuel them. People who hold you accountable, who sharpen your thinking, who pray for your strength when you feel weak, who celebrate your wins and correct your wrongs. Because the right circle will make you stronger, bolder, wiser. The wrong circle will keep you spinning in cycles of confusion, compromise, and complacency. So do an audit of your circle. Who's pushing you, who's stretching you, who's speaking life into you, and who's draining you, delaying you, distracting you. Some of us need to stop asking, why am I not growing? And start asking, who am I growing with? Because change isn't just about what you're doing. It's also about who you're doing life with. It's time to clean the room of your relationships. It's time to unplug from the people who keep keeping you small. It's time to surround yourself with people who see your value even when you forget it. People who pray when you feel dry. People who see your blind spots and still believe in your breakthrough. You don't need a crowd. You need a circle, and the right circle, the right people. They won't just walk with you. They'll war with you. They'll fight for your future, intercede for your strength, and remind you who you are when the world tries to make you forget. That's the kind of connection that builds destiny. That's the kind of environment where change thrives. There comes a point where you must look yourself in the mirror and tell the truth, not the polished truth. Not the filtered version of your life, not the version you present on social media, but the real, raw, unedited, unguarded truth. Because hear me clearly, God cannot bless who you pretend to be. He cannot heal who you're faking to be. He cannot elevate a character you're playing for the world. He can only bless the real you, the one He created. So many of us have been wearing masks. We've learned how to perform. We've learned how to say the right things, nod at the right scriptures, clap at the right moments, smile on cue. But inside, we're crumbling. We've become actors in our own lives, trying to impress people who don't even know the depth of our pain. Trying to fit into expectations that don't match our assignment. Pretending we're okay when our soul is screaming for rest. And let me tell you what that pretending does. It keeps you stuck. It's a trap. Because as long as you're pretending, you will never experience the power of real transformation. You can't fix what you fake. You can't heal what you hide, and you can't grow while you're acting like you've already arrived. Some of us are so busy trying to protect our image that we're destroying our identity. You're putting so much energy into being liked, into being seen, into being accepted, that you've forgotten how to be real. And in the process, you're losing the very thing that makes you powerful, your authenticity. Let me tell you something. Authenticity is not weakness. It's not vulnerability gone wild. It's not oversharing just for attention. No, authenticity is spiritual courage. It's the moment when you say, I'm done pretending. I'm ready to be real. I'm ready to face the parts of me that I've buried for years. And that's where healing begins. That's where deliverance breaks through. That's where chains start falling. See, God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be honest. He already knows your struggles. He knows the habits you hide. He knows the thoughts that torment you at night. He knows the disappointments you never talk about. He knows the fear behind your ambition, and He's not intimidated by it. He's not ashamed of you. He's not disgusted. He's inviting you to come out of hiding, to bring the real you to the surface, to stop performing and start healing. Because freedom doesn't come through pretending. It comes through truth. The Bible says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." But if you're not willing to face your truth, you'll keep living in quiet bondage, bound by comparison, bound by insecurity, bound by guilt, bound by silence, and here's what's dangerous. The longer you pretend, the more you disconnect from who you really are. You start believing the mask. You start living in survival mode. You start forgetting what it feels like to be vulnerable, to be known, to be seen without filters. And eventually, you stop growing. Not because you're not gifted. Not because you're not called, but because you're trapped inside a version of yourself that God never designed. Let me say this to your soul. You are enough as you are, not the Instagram version, not the version you show your coworkers, not the version that only shares victories but hides struggles. The real you, the one who's been through storms, the one who doubts sometimes, the one who cries behind closed doors, the one who still feels broken in places. That version is the one God wants to use. You think your scars disqualify you, but God sees them as stories. You think your past makes you unworthy, but He sees it as preparation. You think your weakness makes you unusable, but the Word says, "My strength is made perfect in weakness." God doesn't need your perfection. He needs your permission to step into your truth, your permission to confront the patterns, your permission to stop playing roles that no longer fit. This is the season where you stop pretending, where you stop trying to perform and start showing up fully, because pretending may get you applause, but it won't bring you peace. It may impress people, but it won't move heaven. Only the truth will. You're not going to change your life by becoming a better actor. You're going to change your life by becoming more honest, more transparent, more humble. When you stand in your truth, you open the door to transformation. When you own your brokenness, God begins the rebuilding. When you stop running from your reflection, you start walking toward your destiny. So strip off the mask, lay down the role, let go of the pressure to be perfect. Stand in the mirror and say, "Here I am, God, the real me, no filters, no act, just me." And watch Him bless that, watch Him elevate that, watch Him breathe on that. Now hear me and hear me well. This is your moment. This is not just a message. It's a divine interruption, a spiritual wake-up call, a summons to rise from the shadows of who you've been and step boldly into who you were created to be. You've been sleeping on your potential. You've been delaying your growth. You've been dimming your light to make others comfortable. But no more sleepwalking through life. No more hiding. No more settling. Wake up. Wake up to yourself. Awareness. Wake up to your patterns. Wake up to the comfort zones that have caged your calling. Wake up and take control of your habits. Wake up and reevaluate your circle. Wake up and strip off the mask. Because everything you're praying for, everything you're dreaming of, everything God has promised you, it's on the other side of your decision to change, not tomorrow, not next year, not when the time feels right. Now. Change doesn't wait for convenience. Destiny doesn't wait for perfection. Purpose doesn't knock twice. You've got to move when God says move. You've got to respond while the fire is hot. This is not just about motivation. This is about transformation. This is not hype. This is a holy push. It's time to change your life. Not in theory, but in practice. Not in your imagination, but in your actions. So wake up, get up, rise up. And change your life. The world is waiting on the real you, and heaven is ready when you are.